Hello, welcome to Gabie's Knit Goodies. I am wearing the Irene Lynn Rhoda jumper today. I don't know if where you are, you've been in summer and it's late summer now, and yesterday and today, like it was 60 something degrees Fahrenheit this morning, which is nice and cool for me. And as soon as that little bit of coolness comes in, I crave sweater weather. And usually I put on a sweater and it gets too hot and I can only wear it for like an hour or two. But today was the perfect day for the Rhoda jumper. It gives me sweater vibes without as much heat. It's only going to be in like the 70s today, so it's not going to be super warm, but too warm for a full wool regular sweater. However, I made this Rhoda jumper out of my wool DK weight in olive green, but it has all the holes in it. So it's breathable and light, but it's still cozy. And this color gives me fall vibes. So it's fantastic. I finished it in the spring. Yeah, this past spring. And I got to wear it a little bit then. But truly the color of it goes with fall better than spring. So it makes me so happy. The weather makes me happy. Being able to wear a sweater makes me happy. So talking about knitting makes me happy. Yeah. Alright, before we get into my knitting, you can find me at Gabie's Knit Goodies on Etsy, where I have my hand-dyed yarn. And there are sometimes limited quantities, or you may see me make something out of yarn that may not be available currently. Just message me, because I try to restock things as they sell out, but that doesn't always happen. And I tend to restock things when I want to use the colorway, and I'll dye extra. However, if you ask me, most likely I will be able to dye it, and dye it fairly quickly. So I'm not that busy these days as a dyer. I'm just busy as a mom, school teacher, mom, homeschool teacher. So anyways, all that being said, don't ever hesitate to ask for a colorway. I can always say no if I can't do it. But anyways, moving on. You can find me on Instagram at Gabie's Knit Goodies, where I post pictures of what I'm working on. And my yarn, I post lots of yarn pictures on GKG Yarn on Instagram. Yes. So, today I do have a couple of new things. A half object and a whip. And I've made a small bit of progress on some of my other stuff. One item I've made like no progress on. But that's okay. So let's see. How about, well, I don't think I have anything else to say about this other than I have a full video that talks all the details of my knitting process with the Rhoda jumper. And I will do my best to remember to link it down below, but it is probably titled Rhoda Jumper Review or something like that. And I do really like it. But hers, the original pattern's in cotton. I made mine out of DK merino nylon. Yes. So it gives a little bit of a different vibe, but perfect for fall. It is the perfect sweater for this. It's not fall. It's not fall at all, but it's like the hints of fall are coming in the air. So anyways, moving on. I teach a knitting class, knit and crochet. We're just doing knitting right now for adults and high school students at my kids' homeschool co-op. And I've done it for a few years now. And this year I have a number of students who are like returning students who have taken the class before and already have a lot of the base skills, which is kind of fun because then I can start thinking about things that are a little bit more challenging. But my challenge as a teacher is I also have beginner students as well. So I have to kind of balance that. So currently they've just basically made a swatch, either using a variety of needles so we can test their gauge and kind of explain the whole gauge thing to the students. And then my brand new beginner just did a garter swatch, just learning the knit stitch. So our next project are fingerless mittens, but I have to figure out how to have it be doable for a beginner, as well as challenging and exciting enough for a more advanced knitter. Still a beginner, but more of an advanced beginner. So, I kept looking for patterns for this, and I found a free pattern. I will put the name of the pattern here. I think it's put out by like a yarn company, maybe? I can't remember. But it is a one size pattern, knit in the round, and it says it's like beginner and easy. I'll tell you a little bit about construction first. You are using, they suggest DPNs, double pointed needles, and it's a worsted weight yarn. And you start at the cuff and you're doing it in the round with a twisted or half twisted rib. So the knit stitches are twisted but the purls are not. And then you do stockinette stitch, and then you do your thumb gusset where you're increasing, and then they have you put the body on hold, finish the thumb up in flat, bind the thumb off, seam the thumb up, and then put these stitches back on and finish the top part. So, and it's too big. I meet gauge, it says it's a one size pattern, but it's too big. I mean, I like it. It's cute, but it is too big. So, yeah. Oh, the yarn is an acrylic yarn. I don't have my yarn sleeve. It is a giant thing of acrylic yarn, but it is tweed. So it has the little nubbins of brown and black, which are cute. I don't love the feel of acrylic yarn as much. It is soft, but it's that plasticky soft. So personally, it's not my favorite, but it's inexpensive. Like I said, I think it's from Hobby Lobby, and it's like big yarn, something like a big yarn cake thing. And it does look very cute, and my students are excited about it. Though I think the majority of them are probably going to have all matching fingerless mittens. Okay, so back to the pattern. Too big, so number one modification I'm going to have to do is, or I'm already in the process of rewriting pattern and making it suitable for multiple levels. I need to take off about 6 stitches. It's that big for like everybody. The thumb is not a big deal in terms of the size. But then I don't love the construction of the thumb. What I prefer is after you get here and you're splitting for your thumb is to put the thumb stitches on waste yarn, finish working the body of the mitten in the round, and then put the thumb stitches back on your live needles. And I do prefer magic loop, especially for beginners, and then knit that in the round, picking up maybe a couple of stitches right here, and then binding off, and then you're done. That seems more like how I would do a top-down sweater. You know, like a neck, and then this would be a sleeve, and you put that on hold while you do the body, and then you would knit the sleeve. And then you don't have to ever seam anything either. So I'm making that change, and then this will be like level 3 beginners. I kind of have 3 different levels in my class. And level 2 beginners, I think we're just going to do a regular rib instead of a twisted rib. And then the level 1 beginners, I'm working on that one right here. And that doesn't have any ribbing, it's all knit stitches. And then Depending, I have one lady who I'm not sure is going to be ready for the thumb gusset. So I might just do a section here where we'll knit back and forth just for a gap for the hole, for the thumb, a hole for the thumb, and then join back in the round and in the round to finish. And it'll be all in stockinette stitch. And so that'll be like level 1A and 1B will have the thumb gusset, but stockinette stitch. So I basically have like 4 levels of fingerless mittens in the round, all in worsted weight. So I think that will go well. I think it'll go well. My brand new beginners who have just learned cast on, knit, and bind off, I think we'll be able to do this with just the gap. I have one probably that may just do the gap for the thumb. But the new skill she'll be learning is how to knit in the round via magic loop. So she still will be learning a new skill, and she'll be getting, a cute project in the end. So I think that will work. And then everybody else will be working on, some of them will still be learning how to knit in the round for the first time, and then practicing their knits and purls in a ribbing format to make sure you're not doing yarn overs when you're switching. And then my more advanced ones haven't ever knit through the back loop for the twisted ribbing. So I think that will work. And so it's basically the same pattern for all of them, just with slight modifications throughout. And then I'm leaving in the original stitch count that was too big, and just having a small and a large size, and giving the stitch count for the small one and leaving a stitch count in there for the large one as well. Yeah, so basically I'm just writing 3+ fingerless mittens pattern. If you're interested in an easy worsted weight fingerless mitten pattern, 3 varieties or 4 varieties of skill level, let me know. I'll be happy to send it to you if you're willing to give me just a little bit of feedback on it in terms of if I've missed anything or made mistakes or whatever. It's pretty simple though. I think it should be okay. Yeah, if you want it, I'd be happy to send it to you. Eventually I might put it up on Ravelry as a free pattern or something. Yeah. So anyways, half object. And this is my little whip here. So together we'll consider these like 3/4 of a project. I will probably wear these together, even though this is ribbed and this one's not. That doesn't matter. They still match. Same yarn. All right. So old stuff. No progress on the Ingrid sweater. My neck is finally better. So it makes me a little nervous to pick this back up, because I think it could be the cotton, and just knitting with a thicker cotton yarn strained me too much. I do think I'll be able to pick it back up soon and just do small amounts of it. So, no reason to show you that one. I have knit on my 05 tie side tank, and oh yeah, okay, I am like there, or maybe 1 row away from doing the back neck bind off and then shoulder shaping for the back. So I'm really close. I should have put a progress keeper on here, but I think I've knit like this much since last time, which is actually a good amount on US 1.5 needles, in my opinion. So I'm getting so close to being done with this one. It's always so difficult to show these things without feeling and looking awkward. But I think it's looking good. And I really love the little split. And I'm going to have to use it as like a vest or under something, because unless we get a nice little warm spell, it could actually work. And then maybe wear like a jeans jacket over it when it's cooler. And then like midday, it would be perfect. All right, I am proud of myself for making myself do the part that I don't like. I think I had finished the sleeve of the sweater number 20. I believe I finished that sleeve last time. But I made myself pick up the stitches for the second sleeve. I kept not picking this up to knit for a number of days in a row because I needed to pick up stitches. And I was like, oh, it's going to be terrible. But it really wasn't bad this time. I like the patterns that tell you not just like pick up, 75 stitches around the armhole, evenly distributed. I prefer the ones that say like pick up, 30 on the front, and then once you get to the shoulder seam, the back half, pick up, 35 or something like that. I prefer the more detailed so that I can check myself to see if I'm like picking up too many or too few before I've done the whole thing and have to rip like the whole thing back. Yeah. I could really double check that I had done it correctly because this has the cable pattern on the sleeves. And so I have a chart that I'm going by. And so if the chart didn't work out, then I knew it was wrong. And I did actually have to adjust something. I didn't have to re-pick up any stitches, but after my first row, I didn't read the pattern thoroughly, I guess. And so when I did my chart, I started at the middle of the armhole. And I should have started like two stitches before the middle of the armhole, and I'll show you why. On this other one, you can see that this cable, this is actually the underarm right here. And this cable runs from the body of the garment here all the way up and then matches up with the cable that runs under the arm of the sweater, of the sleeve. And that 4 knit section between the 2 purl section should be in the center of your armhole or underarm. And mine was shifted over 2 stitches because of where I started. Because that is right in the center. I had started in the center, and the first thing on your chart is like knit 4. And so I needed to start 2 stitches over from the center. Yeah, right, yeah. There you go. Anyways, it took me a while to explain that. So I didn't have to re-pick up anything, which I was very happy about. I just had to unpick, it's about half of the first row of the cable chart, and then start over just two stitches back. So that is actually kind of helpful. It's an easy check to see if you've done things correctly. Yeah, and actually the reason I realized I had done it wrong was not because of that section, it was because of the top section where this cable is. This cable like runs down the top of your arm, and mine on that one was shifted a little bit differently compared to where the seam was. And so I was like, something seems off, and I really, because they're very defined cables here, I didn't want one arm to look different than the other. So I was really glad I looked into that more before I got very far. So anyways, no, it doesn't look like I've made a whole lot of progress because it's only that little bit. But it's significant for me because it means I can pick it up and go, like, knit on it without, yeah, I can just pick it up, look at my pattern, and go. So, yay. The last thing I have to show you, you probably won't really see any progress, but I did knit on it. It's the little sock. I did just a few rows while I was in, I don't know, maybe in church or something, Sunday school class. And that is all of my knitting for today. I did dye some yarn this week. I dyed some more caramel macchiato because I was running low, and some wonderful person bought like 5 caramel macchiatos, and so I needed to restock my stuff. And also my, it's up there, my Monet Water Lilies DK. I'm also very low on that. So I think I only have 2 or 3 in the shop. If you want more DK Monet Water Lilies, then just let me know and I can dye it. Yes. I need to get more berry DK weight yarn. And I need to figure out what I'm going to do for my daughter. Future knitting. We'll talk about that in just a moment for now. And then I'll see you guys later. My daughter wants a very open weave, I say weave, open knit, kind of like this is all holy, sweater for dance. She wants it like super, super cropped and very holy, but not as big and baggy as this one is. So if you have patterns for that you would suggest, please let me know. I went to knit it and crochet it. She really liked my daughter's crocheted one that I did out of cotton. But I don't want to crochet it. I would much prefer knitting it. And she's thinking like somewhere in the pink tones for dance. I was thinking about this one, which is the Dahlias. It's definitely a dusty pink, like a purpley pink, and it has speckles in it. So I'm not sure if it will be the right color for her. I'll have to ask her, but I would like to make it out of this because when you add speckles, it makes a more interesting knit. So I'd prefer this. Yeah. Otherwise, I think I may have to dye her something. This isn't the right yarn, but this is probably a better color for dance. I don't know if you can see this. This is the pastel peach boucle. So it's like a peachy pink. Yeah, like a very light peach color. And this is the 100% merino boucle yarn, so it has all the little loopies and the squishy stuff, which I might make a sweater with that has this in it. Like all out of the boucle, but maybe this and maybe like a steely blue color combined with this. Maybe some type of color work. Not detailed color work because this is a fluffy yarn, like maybe intarsia. Chunky color work. I have so many things I want to knit. So many things. Yeah. Maybe I need to have a dream knitting podcast. We'll see. Alright, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day and have an opportunity to craft. Bye.